Hello. So the next speaker is Senhorina Teixeira with her doctorants, Ana Cristina Ferreira João Silva from the University of Minho, Portugal. They're going to present their work on potential of forest biomass residues and economic and environmental perspective. Now, Senhorina Teixeira, PhD in chemical engineering at the University of Birmingham, UK, is an associate professor at the production and system engineering department at the University of Minho, Portugal. Currently, she teaches numerical methods of SVD courses. She supervised and co-supervised 10 PhD and 50 master dissertations. She is author and or co-author of more than 200 publications and conferences, 9 book chapters, and 50 international journal articles. Her main research areas include modeling and computer simulation of industrial processes and energy systems. Currently, she serves as Erasmus coordinator. Thank you.
Can I start now? Is it all right?
Yeah, we see your presentation.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Small problems like Maria to start. I'm so sorry. So good morning. My name is Signorinha. I'm a teacher, as you told lots of things about me, but I'm a teacher at the University of Minho, Portugal. And first of all, I would like to thank you very much to especially Tatiana that invited me long time ago when she was here. And at that time, I was very pleased to say yes, because I thought I would, at this time, I would visit Belgrade. So I'm very sad that I'm here in the computer only looking at the screen. But anyway, we will meet, of course, we will meet again.
We'll see you next year. I'm sorry I'm interrupting.
No,
I really hope that we are going to see you next year. Sorry.
I think I will go this year. I hope so. Tatiana, thank you. But I'm here with apart from Tatiana, I would like very much to say thank you for Branquica about this conference, because it's a very nice and interesting event. And Professor Vladimir that has talked to us early in the morning. I'm here with João, which is going to share the presentation as well with me. And I'm going to present a team work from 2 departments of School of Engineering. I'm Senhorinha Teixeira. Ana Cristina Ferreira was a postdoc student at my department. Professor José Carlos Teixeira is from mechanical department, and João is a PhD student that is working with both of us. I'm going to now to talk about the potential of forest biomass residuals, which is I'm going to talk in 2 topics. We are going to show some research that we are doing with our students, and then a model that we developed to take in account the economic and environmental perspectives of this problem of biomass and biomass residuals. So demand for energy has increased over the years due to the population growth, as well as industrial and social economic developments. However, the fossil fuel resources have a crucial contribution to energy consumption worldwide, and they are sometimes associated with climate changes and global warming. So the energy sector is in a severe transformation, making it essential to the creation of a carbon-neutral European system. Decarbonization will require significant efforts in all sectors, but only can be achieved in a cost-effective way. The global energy supply system is in a transformation from a central system dominated by fossil sources to a system that is based on renewable energy sources. Biomass appears as a fundamental role to diversify renewable energy production through its use in a different way, including combined and heated power plants. As an alternative clean energy source, biomass appears a very interesting option as it is considered a sustainable, renewable, and this can be debated, but a CO2 neutral energy source. Increasing the use of biomass can help mainly to lower the GHG emissions and diversify the energy supply in Europe. In 2018, the Europe energy from solid biomass represented almost half of the renewable primary energy production and almost 2/3 of the renewable final energy consumption. Biomass can be used to produce energy, as I said, in combined and heat power plants, but also as a fuel to produce indirectly new products. Biomass production involves a chain of activities ranging from a growing of biomass feedstock to a final energy conversion. Each step along the way has different sustainability challenges that must be considered and managed. In this presentation, as I told you, we are going to divide in two parts, and João will introduce now the different applications of biomass, considering electricity production, residential heating, and pellets production. Later on, I will talk about this chain and the way we can try to transform the chain in an economical way. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and João will continue with.
You can continue, please.
You want me to continue, or
yes, Professor. You can continue. So I will talk. No, please. Okay. So good morning to everyone. Regarding the electricity production with biomass, we investigated the forest residues conversion in a dedicated power plant, which is rated at 10 megawatts and deliver approximately 60 gigawatt hour per year to the mains. And this pool, a difficult one, is supplied from various sources within approximately 30-mile radius. Is extremely heterogeneous. So this is because I speak this very difficult one, and heating value is strongly affected by its moisture content. For this reason, the moisture content and the inert quantity are monitored continuously to adjust the real fuel value to the operating conditions in the thermal power plant. The fuel is burnt in this boiler, a great fire boiler, where the reference flow of biomass is approximately 12 tons per hour for the maximum load, of course. The fuel inside this great fire boiler undergoes a complex and irregular thermal conversion process, which starts with a drying process and followed by the volatilization and char conversion inside the grate, which has a vibrating grate. So due to the complex and irregular process, there are a lot of problems inside this boiler. Besides, the pollutant emission limit is often exceeded. Please. Next. So in this regard, to give some scientific explanations to this phenomenon and characterize and propose some strategic alternatives to improve the combustion process, experimental work and CFD, which is an acronym to computational fluid dynamics modeling, have been developed by our research group. The experimental activities cover mainly the combustion process on the grade, where the influence of parameters such as primary airflow rate, the distribution on the grade, the vibration periods were evaluated by our research group. And of course, a detailed physical and chemical analysis of the biomass were monitored, as well as the flue gas emissions with the boiler control analytical instruments. The results of this type of activities were very useful for us to understand the impact of the different K parameters on the biomass conversion inside the boiler, and to understand the impact on the gas phase emissions. The observations are, of course, very important to validate the numerical model, which is, of course, a powerful tool to predict the flow and biomass conversion, and to anticipate then some problems that can occur during the combustion phase. This because the comprehension inside the boiler, and specifically on the grate part, we have low comprehension of the phenomenon, and with the CFD model we can understand exactly which is a great advantage for us, and a promising alternative to meet economic and environmental demands on the operation of grate furnace. Regarding the residential heating subject, of course, experimental and numerical works have been developed by our research group. These ones in a 20 kilowatt prototype pellet boiler presented in Mechanical Engineering Department of the University of Minho. The experimental works, as previous one, are very useful to understand the influence of different parameters. These experiments were performed with certified wood pellets and were carried out to analyze these four parameters: the influence of power, which is related with pellets mass flow, excess air, and split ratio between different quantities of air supplied in boiler, and the influence of the grate area where the pellets combustion takes place. This one was also analyzed to understand its influence. Of course, these sets of experiments are very useful to get, as I said before, a better understanding of the operating conditions and understanding the combustion process inside the equipment, and to obtain more information to validate the numerical models that we are doing. Regarding the numerical studies, CFD simulations in combination with detailed submodels for the solid fuel conversion have been developed by our research group. These simulations are very useful to predict the combustion not only on the grate but on the freeboard, which is very difficult to understand with the experimental activities. So the prediction with this model was very useful, because we predict the arrangement and temperature profile of the particles on the grate, and the main gas species concentration inside the boiler were also possible, as you can see in this figure. CFD results show that the operation of the boiler allows an effective mixing between the combustion air and flue gases inside the combustion chamber, and a generally good agreement between the computational fluid dynamics model and the experimental data were obtained, which is very, very good for us. Regarding the other subject that our research group analyzed, pellets production, an energy and exergy analysis of the sawdust drying process performance of a facility with an installed capacity to produce approximately 2 tons per hour of high quality certified pellets over 2 different seasons of the year were performed. Only to understand the importance of this subject, Portugal has an extensive forest area, about 31% of the land area, whose products can be used as an energy source, and an attractive option is the use, of course, of the forest residues byproducts to produce pellets. Pellets are characterized by their reduced moisture content and higher calorific value when compared with the biomass or wood chips in general. The production of the pellets involves several processes, from the collection of raw material to drying, grinding, granulation, and packing. Drying is one of the most energy intensive, since the pellet's moisture is controlled. And this was why thermodynamic modeling through the use of first and second law analysis was used to simulate the energy conversion process in pellet facility, and to understand how to improve the efficiency and to further identify potential improvements on the facility.
Thank you, João. I think are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so João presented the 3 ways of converting biomass into energy, and now I think I'm going back again to our supply chain costs, because it is possible if only with a comprehensive analysis of this supply chain we can properly assess the economic and environmental viability of forest biomass. Here are the lines of action and measures that fit forest-based biomass within the scope of the National Energy and Climate Plan. And they include, as you see, accelerate the production of electricity from renewable energy sources, promote the efficient use of renewable energy in heating and cooling systems, and we are also committed to foster better use of biomass for energy uses. Talking about agriculture and forest sustainability, we will try to promote the production of and use of renewable energy sources in the forestry sectors, and also to promote the role of bioeconomy. So we think we have a feature here that we have to talk about. The supply chains from forest biomass may in our way or in our thoughts may be grouped in 2 main categories. Referring in Portugal, we have chains that result from processing the forest material, and we have chains that result from the activity of the wood industry. In Portugal, the direct supply of biomass forest biomass represents 15%, and we can, which is a good way to improve this. Regarding the biomass from forest materials, we can talk about different stages. Forest production, we can talk about energy generation from forest products, transport and residuals and waste management, So lots of stages that we have to talk about and think about costs and opportunities. But most of these studies are focused on the evaluation of three main impacts: human health, ecosystems, and resources. In this presentation, we would like to model the biomass supply chain in terms of logistic costs, and we try to assess the environmental, economic, and social sustainability of this supply chain. In Portugal, forest byproducts play an important role in the energy production. One of the problems of using forest resources is related with the high costs of its extraction, processing, and the transportation, creating a complex logistic problem. We are now dividing this problem in 4 parts: harvesting and biomass collection. Then we would like to talk about the pre-processing, transportation, and storage. We will go through this. The costs associated with these activities vary according to a specific biomass supply chain. For each logistic activity, a cost function was developed to estimate the biomass supply chain cost. Talking about harvesting and collection costs, the harvesting cost function takes in account the machinery and also which means the capital costs, the operating, maintenance, and fuel costs. The labor costs are also considered the total operating hours and the amount of biomass per hour collected. The costs can also depend on the location. We know this is very important, the location access that we have to biomass. Also the forest materials characteristics, also the availability, seasonal availability, and this will interfere with our costs mainly. But especially for mechanized felling, the labor costs represented most expensive factor because we need quite specialists to operate the machines. Regarding the processing and densification costs, they are affected mainly by the granulometry of biomass, which requires different equipment for different types of operations. Although pre-processing biomass at facilities sometimes is considered efficient because we can use heavier machinery, most of the time the pre-processing of biomass at forest sites is the most economical option because the machinery is cheaper, requires less handling operations, and also reduces the transportation costs. Cutting process represented more than 70% of pre-processing costs, and in Portugal it can represent almost 30 euros for square meters of processed biomass. Transportation. The transportation cost function is the most complex to define because there are a high variety of transportation vehicles. Therefore, to reduce the complexity, in Portugal is the transport by road is the most common. So we develop only the road transportation. The transport will depend on the load transportation costs, the capital, the fuel and maintenance costs of the vehicles as a function of the distance. We have here the graph, and according to a preliminary assessment, the transportation of loose wood is much more expensive than the transportation of wood chips. In Portugal, most of the forest biomass based is transported locally, and the baseline cost is about 18 euros square meter of biomass transported. Regarding the storage, of course it depends on the inventory holding capacity, but also about it depends on the amount of biomass that can be stored. We consider in our model two scenarios, one in biomass storage in open air and biomass storage in covered storage facilities. We have these costs. For instance, it is important to know that for storage locations, if biomass is also stored at intermediate facilities, or it is transported to storage units located almost already in a conversion plant. It depends on also on the storage capacity demand, and of course, as I told, in the type of storage, if it's an open air or a covered enclosure. In some, we try to estimate the costs of forest-based biomass supply chain, but we see it's a very complex problem with a lot of variables. The demand and supply driven collection, the collection of biomass in different forms, the storage at intermediate facilities. The biomass quality deterioration is also a problem. Operational transportation planning and planning the processing of biomass. The models must include all these aspects in order to be able to estimate this supply chain costs more accurately. Talking now a little bit about Portugal, the forest sector is of strategic importance for the sustainability of future of modern society. Forests play a leading role as suppliers of bio-based products, more resource efficient with competitive and low carbon supply chains that allow accelerating the transition to a sustainable European bioeconomy. We can also talk about other ways of using biomass, because they are an excellent source of wood for new low carbon building materials. Leading a source for cellulose for new and greener biotextile and bioplastics materials. And also lignin is another significant component of wood that has shown in obtaining new and more sustainable materials. Incorporating lignin in concrete production is also a new product that we have to consider when we study biomass in an economic perspective. So just to finalize, the final remarks I put here about use of solid biomass. In the long term, the future growth of heat and electricity production using biomass will depend, of course, in the implementation and strategic decisions defined by each member of the National Energy Climate Plan. This attests to the willingness of our society maintaining the industrialists to substitute their use of fossil resources with solid biomass. In Portugal, currently, the projects for new dedicated biomass power plants will be discouraged because they are quite low efficiency, and there are environmental pressures to use energy sources more efficiently. The main point, it will be the conversion of existing CHP plants to move to biomass products. Furthermore, it is important to point it out that the forest main biomass is also an excellent source of wood and to new low carbon building materials, new and greener textiles and bioplastics. So this is a very short presentation of our work in, as I say, experimental and computational ways. We have been doing the modeling of the conversion biomass in energy and heat, and also this model that we have been we've been developing will help us to find the costs of this supply chain biomass. I think I'm still in our time, and thank you.
Thank you very much. If anyone has any questions regarding to this presentation, you may ask now. Just don't forget to unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Can I ask a question if nobody else wants? Is it okay?
Yes.
You know that this is not my topic, but you said something very interesting for the future. It's the task of promoting the role of bioeconomy. What do you think? What should we as higher education institutions do in regard of promoting the role of bioeconomy or circular economy?
Yes, Tatiana, I can tell you that we have been introducing these topics in our degrees. Especially, we have a first year degree, a degree in industrial engineering, and in our first year, the all students do a project on conversion of biomass, using of biomass, green economy. We try to teach them something at the start of the degree. So we think that we can help in modeling or making them thinking about these alternatives. I don't know if it's this but we can talk later on different applications and different ways that we do with our students. Okay.
Thank you.